Hey there, freaking awesome people, Winnie here from Mind Now, and welcome back to Inspirational Mind, where we break down channels, interview people to gain their perspective on how you can master your mind to gain self-confidence and self-esteem, especially if you're an introvert. But hey, don't shy away if you're an extrovert because the world needs you. And today we have a special guest. I'm so freaking excited. Oh man, I am so glad that you have given us the time. It is Elliot Choy. I hope I pronounced your name correctly there.
That's
Awesome.
cool.
Bro, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Dude, I'm like, even though you might not feel as like a celebrity, but to me, you feel like a celebrity, bro. I mean, your YouTube channel is like blowing up, and this guy, everyone, he is literally the second version of Gary Vaynerchuk. He has so many things to do. It is crazy. Like, we only have 24 hours a day, but it seems like he has like 36 or something. Anyway, let's just jump right into the questions. I love interviewing entrepreneurs as well because they really need to have the self-confidence. They need to believe in what they do, and because a lot of people will say, oh, do you think that really works out? Oh my God, this is so risky. So my question to you is, how do you actually gain self-confidence and believe in yourself, bro?
Yeah, so I would say the number one thing is saying you're gonna do something and then actually following through. So like you can get confidence when someone like compliments your maybe the way you look, maybe you feel more confident. But honestly, I think the best way to build confidence is to, again, say that you're going to do something and then actually follow through. This is tricking your mind into saying, okay, oh, Elliot says he's going to do something, and then he actually does it. Then your brain starts to build trust with your actions. And so whenever you say you're going to do anything else in the future, your brain is like, okay, what steps do I need to take in order to help this become a reality? Because whatever Elliot says he does, it actually happens. And so again, that I think that's like the number one advice that I can give for building confidence.
That is crazy, man. But let me ask you one thing though. Like, a lot of people get also demotivated and stuff. And how do you actually get that self-discipline, man?
Yeah, so I think what's really important is goal setting, because when you set goals, you set your priorities. And there's a million things, I'm in college, right? So there's a million things I could be doing. I can be making videos for my YouTube channel. I can go out with friends. I can play video games. I can go to an event on campus. I can do all these things, but the truth is, no, I can't. I don't have enough time in the day to do it. So it comes down to, what are my long-term goals, and what do I have to do today and tomorrow and this week in order to achieve those goals? So for me, I set like semester-long goals, right? My semester is like a few months long, and I have a few things that I really want to work on every semester. And so each week and every day, I work a little bit towards that goal. And having those goals in mind helps you prioritize what you need to do every single day. If my goal is to have fun, maybe I'll prioritize, going out with friends and playing video games, or whatever it may be. But if my priorities are, let's say, I want to grow my social media presence, then I'm working on creating content for my YouTube channel or Instagram, and all of that. So it really comes down to, what are your long-term goals, and what micro level actions can you take in order to achieve those goals?
Man, that sounds really interesting. We will actually get back to the time management later on as well. But yeah, dude, like we already know that you do so many things. You must have the energy, bro, throughout the day. It is amazing. So how do you actually get that energy? Do you have like some sort of morning routine, or what do you do?
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend getting enough sleep, first of all. It's really important. I personally think I'm not getting enough sleep as of late, but it's something I'm trying to work on. But honestly, like, you have to have something that you're seriously passionate about. If you do, then like you want to wake up in the morning so that you can go with whatever it is. For me right now, like as of right now, that's my YouTube channel. I want to wake up. I'm thinking about what content can I make. How can I grow the channel? All these things are running through my mind, before I go to sleep throughout the day. And so when I wake up too, that's like the first thing on my mind. And so it really gets me out of bed, because I think about like the potential that I have, and all the work I still have to do with that with that passion, and that really gets me up and going. In terms of like a morning routine, I don't have one right now, but if I'm feeling really like, I get not dizzy, but like just a little blurry in the mind in terms of like my direction, meditating actually helps a lot for me. I don't do it a lot, but occasionally when I'm like feeling really just demotivated, what I'll do, I'll just sit down, back straight, chest up, and I'm just breathing, right? I'm closing my eyes and I'm thinking about where I am, like my surroundings, and this type of meditation helps me like kind of get focused. That being said, I don't do this often. This is just like when I'm really like in a slump and I need some direction. But again, that could be definitely helpful. Also, I like to read in the morning, which helps me kind of get in the mindset of productivity and the mindset of just being effective and efficient in my life. And so between that, I feel like I do everything else that a normal person would for their morning routine, but I don't have anything like super special. So again, just like really focusing on your passions like all the time really helps you like get up in the morning. For me personally.
Yeah, you actually just talked about passion there. So I know that you're pretty young and you might not have the answer to this. And I keep on saying this to everyone that I interview. You know, there's no right answer to this. So actually, to every question. But here I go with this awesome question, which is, what advice would you actually give to someone who hasn't figured out their passion or purpose yet?
Yeah. Best piece of advice is to try a bunch of different things. And this is just because you'll never know whether something is right for you unless you give it a shot. And this is something that Damon John, I don't know if you know him, he's like a shark on Shark Tank. And he's a big like American entrepreneur. He started Fubu. I had the chance to talk to him back, I guess last semester, a few months ago. He came to talk at my school, and I had the chance to like go backstage and talk to him. And he said, yeah, like just if you don't know like if you're passionate about something, just try as many things as possible in a short amount of time. And honestly, that really resonated with me because I felt like I was doing things right. Because a lot of times like I feel kind of guilty about jumping from one thing to another. I've done so many different things over the past few years that like I think, okay, am I doing something wrong because I'm not sticking with one thing? But the truth is like while that's important, I'll talk about that in a second, it's important to try different things as well. And it is important to kind of like persevere through the challenges of when like pursuing something becomes difficult, because that's when you really find out like whether you like it or not. But again, trying different things in a short amount of time is definitely one way the fastest way and the best way in my opinion to figure out what you're passionate about. You got to really like step outside of your comfort zone and try things that you've never even considered doing before.
I mean, I guess at the end it also kind of benefited you in a lot of ways, right? First you did like photography, you're still doing photography and videography, and you combined like all of the things that you've done like along the way, right? Knowing social media, how to actually grow that, and that's also one of your side businesses as well. So I think at the end it will always kind of benefit you in a way. It doesn't matter like if you say, okay, this is not a skill that is useful, maybe there's another skill that you didn't look at, which is, for example, patience, right? If you're doing something that you didn't like, but you learned how to be patient because you did something that you hated or whatever it is, right?
I was literally like not passionate about videography like in high school at all. I didn't even care about it. But like because I had my background in photography, which is what I was passionate about at the time, it gave me the opportunity to be more passionate about videography, which in my opinion is a little bit more challenging. But because I had that background in photography, I was able to develop that passion for videography. And like your passion changed. I thought I was going to be a photographer in high school because I loved photography that much. And then now, like, so many things have changed that, like, I don't even take photos that often unless, I don't take photos for fun that often, which is interesting because I'm just, like, less passionate about it. So, for sure, that's a good point. And then also, I, like, used to edit videos for some people on YouTube, like, smaller YouTubers, but, like, that experience, I didn't enjoy it, but I learned things that like I apply now to my videos. And so whenever I have an opportunity, even though I'm like not maybe super enthusiastic about it, if it's different and like you said, if you can learn something from it, I take that opportunity because that's what's super valuable for me.
No, definitely, man. And you actually already said what you did and how you actually came about to figuring out what you want to do. But maybe you can get a little bit deeper into that. How did you actually figure out what you wanted to do? I mean, now you're studying business, right? You did photography. Why didn't you, for example, study something related to photography?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to be an engineer in high school, believe it or not. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, super random. But I was on like the robotics team. I was like, okay, I'm going to college for engineering. But then like with my photography, which again was just like a fun thing to do on the side, I started my Instagram account. And over the course of about a year in high school, I grew it to around, right now it's at around 25,000 followers. At the time, it was probably around 20,000 followers when I started doing like brand work. And so I started reaching out to brands. I started working with brands across the world like Daniel Wellington, Oloclip, just these brands that work with influencers. And when I started working with them, it was super interesting because like they were paying me and giving me free watches and whatnot in order for me to post on Instagram, which was like, well, really exciting as a high schooler. You know, you're getting like free stuff and you're getting paid just to like post on Instagram. So that's exciting in itself. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I got really into like how do I grow on social media and all of these all these strategies and tactics. And I spent a lot of time learning about like search engine optimization and really, you know, internet things, marketing things, and I guess that got me super passionate about like the digital world. And right now, a lot of the things that I do are in the digital world, whether it be social media, e-commerce, YouTube. All of that is very digital, right? And it all stemmed from the fact that I love photography and I wanted to share my photos. And then while I was sharing my photos on this platform, I learned more about, you know, this digital space. And so one thing led to another. Honestly, like in hindsight, it's so interesting because it just makes so much sense, like how I got to where I am. And I'm still learning and growing and figuring out what the next thing is. But like from photography to social media to what social media taught me about, like Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a huge role model for me, who taught me about like flipping, which eventually led me to learning about e-commerce, which eventually led me to social media marketing. And so it's just crazy because in hindsight, it looks like I've just like taken this like very, you know, it makes sense like how I got to where I am. But you know, in the moment, you never expect to end up wherever like you end up. So again, it's about like just trying different things.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, like I said, you're going to be like the second version of Gary Vaynerchuk, man. And I like so many people look up to you, including me, man. Like especially the entrepreneurial path that you have, and like so many things that you're doing in one time. It's crazy, and you still like have the drive and the passion, and you're like so productive. And when people watch your videos, they're like, holy cow, how the hell does this guy do it, man? No, but it's really awesome. But yeah, you talked about like goals, that it's really important to have goals. So tell me, what has really helped you the most in regards to achieving your goals?
Yeah, I would say aiming big, like aiming high in terms of your goal setting. This is like something that's popular in the 10x. I think it's called the 10x rule by Grant Cardone. It's a book, and basically, his rule is do 10 times as much as other people and set your goals like 10 times as high. And so this really resonated with me because, you know, basically it talks about if you set your goals super high, even if you fall short of your goals, you're still ending up at a better place than where you set your goals. And interestingly enough, I feel, and this has to do with my confidence, when I was talking about confidence, but I feel like every single goal that I've taken seriously for myself, I've achieved, which again builds like an enormous amount of confidence in my ability to do anything really. But again, like if I'm able to achieve anything that I set my mind to, then why not just set my goals super high and achieve a lot, you know? And so again, setting those goals super high for me is helpful. Again, you have to be confident about it though. Like I don't set a goal unless I know I can achieve it, and even though they're set really high, like I know I can achieve it. And of course, like maybe not based on my current trajectories or whatever, but like over time, like I feel like I can do anything that I really set my mind to. And so Ray Dalio, he wrote Principles. He also talks about goal setting a little bit. and he says, you know, if you know you can achieve, this is kind of contradictory to what I just said, but he says if you know like you can achieve something, then you're setting your goals too low. And again, this goes like hand in hand with just like setting your goals super high. I think a lot of times people teach like make your goals achievable and, you know, reasonable, but like I feel like that's just setting your bar too low. Honestly, I think it's better if you're confident in yourself, of course, to set the bar high and just aim higher. So even if you fall short, you're in a better spot than if you had set your goal too low.
I mean, it totally makes sense, man. And all of the goals that you have set for yourself, were they like all high, and were you able to achieve all of them like how you set them, or did you fall short on those goals?
Yeah, so it depends like how you frame your goals. I think it's a good idea to set your goals as more long-term things, because I think failure is an important part of reaching your goals. And so really like if you set your goal as like I'm going to do this by next week or next month, like that's not enough time for you to fail and try again and fail and try again and then eventually succeed. So I think like keeping that in mind is important when you set your goals. Like with Amazon FBA, that was like a huge, and your goals can change too. Like my goal in the past was to like make money using Amazon FBA business model, right? And honestly, that wasn't the goal. Like the goal in my mind was like financial freedom. The goal in my mind right now is financial freedom. Like through making money, but it's not necessarily through the Amazon FBA machine. You know, right now, it's kind of, I'm trying to change gears. I'm like moving away from Amazon because I'm not like a huge fan of it anymore. But again, having the long-term goal is important because there can be many different ways in which you can reach that goal. There's no one straight path, and so it's important to give yourself some room in order to like take different paths in order to reach that goal.
Yeah, definitely, man. So yeah, now talking about tracking them though, you know, do you track them weekly, monthly, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really do any like tracking. Maybe I probably should. But yeah, honestly, you know, I keep it in the back of my mind every semester. I do a lot of reflection about like whether, you know, my day, let's say, was the way that I liked it to be, the way that I wanted it to be. And if I find that I'm kind of like veering away, I'll like, you know, I'll just have like a session where I'm like really like thinking, maybe meditating a little bit. I'm just like, okay, what do I need to do? What changes in my life do I need to make if I'm not on track to achieve the goals that I had set for myself? So it's not really like on a weekly basis, or daily basis even. It's just like, if I find myself veering, and I know in the back of my head if I'm like not living the life that I want, if I know that, then I just take a moment to slow down. I think about, okay, let me reassess like why I want to achieve those goals. I kind of just do like a session. I literally like, you see that whiteboard right there? I wipe it clean. I turn on some like really like epic music, and I blast it, and I'm just like, all right, you got to make some changes in your life, and I write down like everything that's in my mind.
No, that's awesome, bro. Yeah, so on that whiteboard, is that like all of your goals, or?
Right now, it's like things to do for the weekend, so it kind of depends. Like sometimes I'll write out my goal statements, and then sometimes I just put erase it and put my to-do list up there. But I do like to put like my vision statements, I guess you could call them. Basically, they're my goals for the semester, and I just put out a video on this actually today, but I like to write my goals in the present tense as if I've already achieved them. And so literally like this is from this book right here, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's about like visualization and like tricking your brain into thinking that you already have what you want. And so like in order to get your things, I guess, get your goals, you need to like take the proper actions to get there. And so thinking of it from that mindset kind of helps you achieve your goals and take the proper actions.
Yeah, man, crazy, dude. You're just so inspiring. It is unbelievable, bro. But now comes my favorite question, and that everybody is probably wondering, how the heck do you manage your time, bro? You're doing so many things, and like, do you actually batch them? Say like, okay, on Monday this is the day where I'm going to do videos, and Tuesday it's gonna be editing day, or how do you like manage your time, bro?
Yeah, so I definitely like use Google Calendar super heavily, and I like to schedule my day in the morning. And honestly, I don't really stick to the schedule that often. But I do like to have an idea of what I need to do every day, and this is super helpful in the mornings because if you write out everything you want to do in the day, then throughout the day, if you catch yourself slacking at all, you're like, wait, remember at the beginning of the day when like you told yourself like you didn't have time to slack off because you have so much to do, right? So stop slacking off and get back to work, pretty much. And so like that Google Calendar really helps like visualize what I need to do during my day, and I don't always stick to it. Sometimes I gotta push things back. Sometimes I can move things forwards, but definitely that helps with kind of visualizing what I need to do. In terms of just time management, batching definitely helps. That's just like basic economic. I forget what it's called actually. There's some kind of theory where when you have larger production, it just is more efficient. And so I do like to batch. I like to edit right after I shoot my videos, and that sometimes takes like my videos take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours per video, and it takes me a long time to plan as well. So like I write out scripts for my video because I want it to be, I want to convey all the information that I really want to say, and so. For example, like those types of things I know by now, like planning takes an hour or two, so I'll block out an hour or two, and just using Google Calendar like helps me a lot personally.
Wow, nice, man. Yeah, dude, how you film your videos and stuff. Sometimes I just ask myself, holy cow, how the hell? Like so many angles. I just think to myself, do you have like 3 people doing that or something? But you're doing like all by yourself, right?
Yeah, I get one camera, I put it down, I'll walk by, and then I'll pick it up, I'll walk by again. I'll do it like maybe 2 to 4 times of the same exact action.
Can already see like maybe one of your video ideas could be like behind the scenes, how you actually do that, and then
I'm thinking about it for sure.
Oh man. Anyway, we're approaching the end now. So your all-time favorite book concerning mindset, bro?
It's right here. I already brought it up, but Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and there's a reason why it's sitting right next to me. It's literally the most life-changing book that I've ever read. The most important element of it is just like mindset, and really sorry about that. Really, it's like it's just so true. Like if you put your mind to anything, like I don't know, it gave me confidence because like reading this book, it taught me like. Literally anything I want to put my mind to, I can do. And it also, again, it helps me a lot with goal setting. That visualization element is super cool. And the way that it's written in a way where you feel like, after you read it, you feel like you can literally do anything. It's convinced you that if you finish the book, that there's nothing you can't do. And so it's really like a confidence builder. But again, I use things from this book like every single day in terms of mindset. And I say if anyone is interested in like self-improvement, entrepreneurship, it's like a must read. It's also like Damon Johns, when he gave a speech, he said that this was his book that got him started with entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Yeah. So really, really life-changing for me.
Dude, I actually can recommend that book as well. I've already read it. Definitely really amazing book. And it's really, really awesome to see how much this book has an impact on you, man. But yeah, anyway, before we get to my last question, tell my people here how they can connect with you further, bro.
For sure. So I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Elliot Choy, or on Instagram at Elliot Choy. That's like my 2 main social platforms. I actually recently just launched a Discord chat, which is super cool. It's for my community. If anyone wants to talk to me or anyone who has similar interests, I have that. That's like linked in my video descriptions. We just launched it like today, pretty much. Actually, so I'm super excited. We went from, I did like a beta test of like 200 people. I think we're up to 600 already within like the past hour or two, and like it's been really cool because like I can do audio chat, so I can literally like listen to people's voices, so that's super fun.
Crazy, man. Anyway, my last question to you. As you know, my channel is all about mastering your mind to gain self-confidence, self-esteem. What is that one activity, one revelation that has helped you the most in regards to mastering your mind?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, it's an accumulation of a lot of things. Like, the mindset game is a lifelong game. It never ends. And that's a beautiful thing about it. You can literally work on it all the time. But the biggest kind of framework I use to master my mindset is this. I don't know if I read it somewhere or if I came up with it. I probably heard it in like a podcast or something. But basically, life is kind of like a war, right? And the decisions you make every single day are battles. And how does a war work, right? You win a war by winning the battles, every single small battle. You can have a super small battle, but that can be pivotal in shaping the direction of a war. And this is how I view life. Like, every decision, I can either choose to make that video or not make that video. Maybe I can choose to spend that extra 5 minutes on Instagram or not. And each one of these is kind of like a daily battle that I face. And if I can win each battle, then eventually I'll win the war. And so, same thing with life. Like, if you make the right decisions every single time, and it doesn't have to be every single time, but the majority of the time you're working towards making the good decisions, then eventually you'll live a life that you will have been proud of, and one that you don't have any regrets in. And so this mindset is like super powerful for me. So that's the best piece of advice I've got.
Dude, thank you so much, bro. Man, again, I am super honored for you being here. Thank you so much for giving me your time, bro. And man, so inspirational. I don't even have words anymore, but honestly, I look up to you in every way, man. Like, I literally, even though you're younger than me, but I still want to live like you, like how you manage your time, how you do so many stuff and still be happy, man. Like, you have your life figured out, bro. It's amazing.
Listen though, I don't. Like, no one has their life figured out, don't get confused. Like, everyone, it might come off as that everyone has their life figured out, but honestly, no one ever has their life figured out. But that's the beautiful thing. We can live our lives, trying to be better and trying to improve, and that's a beautiful thing, man.
I love your attitude right there, man. That is the stuff. Being in love with the process, right? Awesome. Guys, I hope you really enjoyed this. Anyone who's watching this or listening to this, also tell me what was your favorite piece of advice from Elliot here. Leave it down below in the comment section. Guys, remember that you are freaking awesome and that you can do it if you put your mind to it. Winnie out. For now.